Good morning.
Good morning.
Yulia Ulman, right?
Yes.
I'm saying it right.
Perfect.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting conversation because obviously we're going to be talking about jewelry, diamonds, the industry. It's been here for a long time. People seem to have an obsession with it. I mean, if you get married, you got to buy some diamonds, you got to buy some jewelry.
Yes.
It's just part of nature, and I guess that's what people
Well, it's
love.
not a part of nature. It's actually pretty recent.
Oh,
But
is it?
yes. It was the whole diamond engagement ring came out, I believe in the 60s or the 70s. It was just a commercial that said a diamond is forever. And that
Right.
became associated with the engagement ring.
Sure.
But most countries don't even associate it. And then it became popular now with
Right.
the TikToks and the Instagram and the social media. Now people are doing the engagement ring. But mostly for world history and most part of history, it's been gold and actually just different kinds of gemstones. But yes, people's been
I see.
obsessed with jewelry for as long as the world's been created.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I know Africa. I mean, that's
Yes.
the diamond center. Is that what it is? Would you say?
It's a part of it, definitely, yes.
Mm.
But it's De Beers have, control of the market, or they used to, or they kind of still do, and that's I have no clue. Allegedly, I don't know. But yes, they have some mines in Africa, but also, there's mines all over. There's diamond mines all over the world, not
So
just Africa.
this industry is it pretty kind of to itself? Is it pretty close, hard to get into, or is it? Would you say that what? If I want to start selling diamonds, I can, or not really?
I think that right now people are making it seem like yes, you can get into it. I've seen the trends with the watches, like the high-end watches, like just start buying one and selling one, and then you can get into it. I think jewelry industry as a whole, there's a lot of different aspects to it. There's different parts. So are you going to be a wholesaler? Are you going to be a retail store? Are you going to be a jewelry designer? Or are you going to be the bench jeweler who's actually making the jewelry? So, which part do you want to get into?
I mean, your expertise is. I mean, you have a degree in gemology.
Yes, I'm a graduate gemologist.
Right.
And
which means what?
Which means that I have a degree from GIA, which is the leading standard in diamond grading.
Diamond grading. Okay.
Yes, so they were the ones who invented the modern diamond grading system, which is a lot more in depth than the previous diamond grading system. And there's different labs out there. GIA just kind of has made a name for itself.
So strictly natural diamonds.
Not anymore. So now GIA is grading. Yes, I figured you're going to bring up to lab. But your original question about what my degree is, it just means that I learned all about gemstones, not just diamonds. And
right.
So I went to labs. I had to identify what the stone is by looking at it, by performing different tests. And I own the store. So
yeah, your spot is called Jewelry Loft, right?
Yeah, I own Jewelry Loft.
Yeah, cool name.
Thank you.
So there's the natural diamonds,
Yes.
and there's the lab grown diamonds. I mean, from what I'm hearing, the lab grown diamonds are flawless.
They're not flawless. They can just make them flawless if they choose to. Or they can make them with inclusions if they choose to.
So doesn't that just kill the natural diamond industry?
It's definitely shifted it in a way that it's never been shifted before.
So what does that mean? The next 10 years, what happens?
I think that, so when the lab grown first came out, it wasn't the first time something alternative to a diamond came out. We've had moissanite before. We've had CZs before. And people either were anti something that's not a diamond or they didn't care. But it wasn't a diamond per se. With the introduction of the lab-grown diamond, at first, it was something completely new because it is a diamond. The only difference between a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond is its composition of nitrogen. So the lab-grown diamond does not have nitrogen, or depending on the process, it can just have less nitrogen than a natural diamond.
So I have an interesting question for you. Do you believe in this whole, diamonds and metals having, vibrations, energies? Like, people say, put this stone on,
I don't know if I personally believe in it, but I will say that's why when we started out our conversation, I said a diamond is very new. A diamond is actually not meant to believe, is meant just to have a diamond. It's just kind of like a status quo. While all the other stones throughout history
Right.
have been believed to have some kind of mystical powers
Right.
throughout history, and different parts of history have different associations with different stones.
Sure.
And even to this day, people
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
in that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Whether it's high-end precious stones or semi-precious stones, people definitely believe in that.
I
Everything
see.
besides a diamond has a story.
Why is that? I mean, it's a stone too, no?
Yes, it's a stone, but again, a diamond was just a clear stone where they believed were, sapphires, rubies. If you think of past history and you think of kings and queens, when you look at their crowns, you think gold and colored stones. You look at some, for example, Egypt, Cleopatra, she loved pearls. So every stone besides a diamond has been very popular throughout history.
Interesting.
And yeah, like I said, that's
So you're saying it's just
it's just a
gimmick,
very good marketing
scheme. Wow.
But it worked.
Interesting.
And we are here. And since then, a diamond has been consistently valued higher and higher every year until the introduction of the lab grown diamond.
Is it because it's a controlled market? Why is it still, I mean, if people realize that there's other stones that.
Right. And sometimes a sapphire can cost more than a diamond.
Right.
But it's just that diamonds are pretty rare. It's hard to find a diamond, like you said, flawless. So there's diamonds that are not the diamonds that we see in the market today, that ones that you see on most days are not going to be the diamonds that are the flawless, the ones that have the no color, no inclusions. So those are rare. And that is something very precious. And of course, that is something amazing. But it's become, and that's what it was originally, right? So they would only use the very, very high quality diamonds. And that's why it was so special and so rare. But then as the market became more saturated, when then people started using the less quality diamonds, and then they started using, a little bit more cloudy, a little bit more color, and that's okay in everyday jewelry, or it's okay in, the mass market. And as soon as it got introduced to the mass market, so that now that everyone can have a diamond, the quality diminished. And it's not a good or a bad thing, but that's how more diamonds are available. However, the flawless diamonds are still very, very precious, and that's not a gimmick. They are rare.
Right. Well, there's from the buyer's perspective, and then there's from the seller's perspective, the industry itself. Would you say that it's going to stay alive and it's going to keep thriving, or do you think it's kind of like, I'm always curious about every guest I ask this question is, how does AI and technology affect your industry?
Interesting. I haven't thought about AI affecting the diamond industry yet. What I will say is that jewelers, like the bench jewelers who are, carving out the unique pieces and, working by hand, those are unfortunately are not as common anymore, because that's such a trade that was not learned in school, but it was kind of passed down generation to generation. But now people are more interested in the fast-paced market. So they don't want to sit there and make the jewelry. So a lot of it does become like machine made.
Right.
So all those pieces that, our grandparents had, that were like, oh, this was custom made.
Right.
Actually, we do that in the store a lot. We try to custom make a lot of pieces, because that's not something people are used to anymore. They are going to the store and they're buying a piece that was made by a machine, which, not AI machine, just like a machinery, but that's been done for years also.
Right.
A lot of people, I will say, yes, they do buy jewelry online, but they still, even the younger people, still don't love that. They want to see the diamond in person. They want to see what it will look like on their hands because it is usually a larger purchase money wise.
Yeah.
And so they still want to feel like they can trust you. They like to have the guy that they know or the girl.
How's everything holding its value? At the moment, gold is really high.
Gold is the highest it's ever been in history.
So, any foreseeable...
I mean,
What do you
I think personally, I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon because everything's gone up in price.
Yeah.
So gold is just kind of out there. I would always recommend buying gold pieces. Diamonds have stabilized a little bit for the first time because of the lab grown. So they're not going up as much. So right now maybe is a good time to get a natural diamond.
I see. What about the other stones? Like, I know the ones that what are they called? There's the Brazilian stones, amorites.
Maybe
right?
emerald.
I think they're called amorite.
There's different stones that are
They're like
semi-precious.
They're purple.
Amethyst.
Yeah.
Amethyst.
Yeah.
Those are considered semi-precious. Yeah, they've been around. They don't really go up or down in value too much.
So what's the difference between precious and semi-precious?
So the precious stones are only diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and tanzanite. And then all the other stones are semi-precious. So they're more available. So,
they're more available.
And then some of them we don't use in jewelry because they're too soft. Or not that they're too soft, they scratch a little easier. So that's another thing about a diamond. Why is a diamond forever? Because it doesn't scratch. Only a diamond can scratch a diamond. So you can't really ruin a diamond. That's why you can wear it forever. You can pass it down to your kids. You can make it an heirloom piece. So it has the hardest, it's called the Moss scale. It's the hardest on the Moss scale.
Really? Out of all the other stones?
Out of all the other stones, by a lot.
I see.
So that's why the marketing was good. A diamond is forever. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't get ruined. I don't have to repolish the stone. So you buy it once and you keep it forever in your family. Have your kids tell a story with it, how grandpa passed it down and, got through tough times, but he bought this for grandma. Those are the stories.
If I buy a diamond from, I don't know, the black market, or my grandparents give it to me, and it's not GIA, it doesn't have a GIA stamp.
You can always get it. You can always send your diamond to a GIA and have it be graded.
Graded, I see. Simple solution.
Yeah, easy.
And do they grade it properly? They're like, okay.
Oh, of course.
So if it's like...
It's the most reputable lab. So they just grade a diamond. Actually, I believe it's 3 people who grade your diamond, and then they go with a consensus. I did hear what it was when I went there, but I'm not sure if that's a secret or not.
And that's the only company that does that?
No, there's many laboratories out there. There's IGI, there's EGL, but JAA just seems to be the one that people prefer over the other ones.
Yeah, they're New York based, right?
Yeah, they have one in Carlsbad actually here.
Oh, really? Cool. So if I want to buy a diamond, and I'm thinking, what is the best from an investment point of view?
You never buy a diamond as an investment.
You don't?
No.
Why?
Because
they hold value.
They hold retail value. But if you're going to sell it, when you're buying it, you're still going to buy it retail. And the retailer that you're buying it from needs to make money on you.
Yes.
And they can get that diamond wholesale. So if you're going to bring it back, they have to pay you less than the wholesale price because they can get it any time for wholesale.
Right. But if I have a diamond,
right,
from my grandparents,
yes,
that's really nice.
Right.
I mean, that's considered an investment, no? That can hold.
It can definitely hold its value, but not in a sense of it's tricky because first of all, older diamonds were cut in a different way.
Oh.
So they don't sparkle as much as diamonds that are cut now.
Interesting.
And yeah, sometimes it can be a beautiful diamond. And people love that vintage cut. It's called the European cut or an old miner's cut. And they like it. But it's not going to sparkle as much. Sometimes. Maybe it will.
Right.
Depends on the actual, can't compare, every single diamond. But so then you're left with a solution. Are you going to recut it to the modern way and lose some weight of the diamond, or you're going to keep it the way it is. But if you're going to keep it the way it is, then what's the value of it, right? So there's so many values to a diamond that we never recommend buying a diamond as an investment. Keep in mind, you're not going to buy a loose diamond usually. You're going to buy it in a ring. And you're buying it retail again. And there's so many things to it. But as an heirloom piece, because let's say you buy the diamond today, and let's just, for easy math, say it's $10,000. And then, your son buys it in 25 years. Will the same diamond cost $10,000 in the store? I mean, now with the lab grown, we don't know. But a few years ago, I would have confidently said, no, it'll cost, let's say, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000. Now, if you're going to give him the diamond that you paid $10,000 for, he's saving money because he can't get that again for $10,000.
Right.
But if you're going to go and sell that diamond, you're not going to get the $10,000 for it.
I see.
That's why it's not do you see how it's like tricky?
Completely.
Yeah. It's not an investment where you're going to, it's not like the stock market. And if you want to buy gold on the stock market, you can. But I would, or you can buy gold coins. You can buy just gold jewelry in general. If you're buying gold, you're still paying.
For melt value?
No, gold jewelry you would buy for, somebody still had to work on it to make it. There's still labor involved. There's still like retail added to it. But still, let's say I bought a gold band for my husband personally when we got married 11 years ago. That same gold band today is twice as much because gold just is the highest it's ever been. So it's always a good idea to buy it, even at retail value, even as a jewelry piece.
For sure. Yeah. How long you been in business already?
Well, the store's been there for about 15 years.
15 years. Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I wouldn't recommend looking at it as an investment.
Right.
But I would definitely recommend buying jewelry for your family to keep for years and years to come. It's the one thing that, you can put in your pocket and you can leave. Here's so many stories about how jewelry saved people's lives and the wars and, or like when they were in a jam, they could always pawn it. They could always, even if you're not going to sell it for what you're hoping for, you can always sell it.
Sure.
Name me something else that you can do that with.
Your life.
Exactly. So it's always a good buy.
Yes, absolutely.
How did you choose your diamond for your wife?
How did I choose? Well, my whole, I have a lot of family and cousins in New York and Israel and all that. And it's finding one they've been begging me to get something for me for years. Yeah. So the fact that I got married, they're like, whatever you want, whatever you need. And I'm like, I don't know. I have to figure out what she likes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
always a good starting point.
Right. I mean, the interesting thing is that, this whole thing with, with the sexes and having their different, personalities, ladies usually like to beautify themselves, right? They like beautiful things, shiny.
That's why diamond.
All that, yeah, yeah. I think it's pretty, but I'm not a fan of putting stuff on, right? And so
you just haven't found the right piece.
The right piece. Yeah, sure. No, I mean, as an entertainer, as an artist, yeah, I've always had, like my fashion consultants would always like put stuff on me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that looks cool for the show, but I wouldn't on a daily basis. I'm very handy.
Yeah.
I don't like stuff on me. I break it or I lose it or something, right? But in any case, my cousin in New York who owns this also he's a jeweler. Yeah. And, he sent me a few samples and, I took the one that I thought she would like most. And, there's a lot of preference that goes into it. If she's a gentler lady, if she's of all the different types of ladies, right?
Absolutely.
And you have to fit, I guess, accordingly. Some women really like the big boom.
Right. That's why the lab grown is so popular.
That's why.
You can get so much more boom for your money.
Mm.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't. It's
Imagine
interesting.
how hard it was for my husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just finished. I just became. No, we opened the store,
Mm.
but yeah, I was already a graduate gemologist, so I know a little bit more about the diamond part. Maybe not about the business part, but the diamond part.
Right, right, right. How long is that? The whole school?
It just depends how you do it.
Mm.
I think you can just go to GIA and get it done. I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Hmm.
But because there's a lot of lab work that you have to do also. I did it parallel while going to getting my bachelor's.
Oh,
So
I
I was
see.
getting it, I was getting those two together. So it took me, I want to say closer to 2 years. So I guess it's less than 2 years for sure. You can get it.
What do you think about people who want to get? Because again, the reason why I keep asking about technology and AI because this is where the future is leading.
Right.
Everybody I talk to is like their industry is disrupted.
Right.
So I'm just thinking for the future. Anybody who wants to get into any business in the
Right.
future, if they want to, they're thinking, okay, precious metals and diamonds and all that kind of stuff,
It's
jewelry.
glamorous.
Yes, but is there an industry there? Still, can you still?
There's definitely an industry. AI is not going to be able to, right now, as of right now, size your ring.
Mm,
It's not going to be able to. I mean, I don't see AI replacing right now,
yeah.
any part of our business.
Hmm.
Or not any part, but the day to day. Like we still fix jewelry all the time. And people love still that human interaction when it comes to their jewelry because of what we talked about. It's heirloom pieces. They have a hard time leaving it for an hour. They're definitely going to have a hard time trusting AI with it. It's something that's very. Did you know that there's less fraud of insurance on your engagement ring than any other thing that people insure? Because women are so attached to their engagement ring. They're not going to say I lost it when they didn't.
I see.
People are attached to their jewelry as they should be. They spend money on it. It's something that they've worn for years. It's something
Okay,
that didn't
that's
get
it. Sold.
destroyed.
Where do I buy?
Yeah, come to the store.
That's a good one. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
And again, it gets passed down.
Hmm.
When people come to the store, they say, "Can you fix this ring for me?" And they start telling me that it was the ring that their mom wore every single day. And that's the ring that they remember, when
Right.
they're holding her. That's the ring she wore.
Yeah.
They're going to have a hard time giving it to, a robot.
So how customizable is it? Would you say
Completely.
completely?
I've made rings from scratch all the time. People come up with an idea. Yesterday, somebody came in and said they want to make an engagement ring. Their wife likes horseback riding, so include horses in it. So we came up with some kind of like horseshoe design, So anything can be done. That's why we use gold. Gold is soft. We're
Right.
able to make jewelry out
And
of
if
it.
I make the design,
Yeah, that's what
you
we
produce
yeah,
it.
Absolutely. There's this whole process to it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we do use CAD, so a 3D
Yeah.
design.
Right.
So that can be AI. I mean, that's already halfway there.
Exactly.
But yeah, but that will just make our jobs easier because then the ring just gets printed in a wax, like a 3D mold.
Tell me about the whole, the behind the scenes industry. Okay, like where are the top mines in the world currently for gold
Well, that's not. I don't deal with that.
at all?
No.
You don't know where they come from.
Oh, I know. So in the United States, there's a
Right.
whole process called for the diamonds.
Mhm.
Everything that comes into the United States is supposed to be conflict free.
Right.
So everything that we buy, because we're already a retailer, it's been through that process. It's been verified,
Mm.
but we never go to the mines or we never, we just deal
Yes.
with wholesalers.
Right.
Since I'm a
So
retail
I'm
store
just curious, who are the main top
for
players
diamonds, De Beers.
the beers?
Yeah.
So they're the main source. They control the market, and then you buy from them.
I don't buy from them.
Well, okay.
Maybe ultimately, but
Well, who brings all of the main?
there's different, but it's like a
So
whole
there is
process.
no. Oh, it's a whole
Well,
process.
because first you have to
Like you take farming, right? You have the major
right,
farms.
but the diamond industry is so different because
It's
first of
different.
all, yes, because you have to mine the diamonds, and then somebody else has to cut them. So you get to the cutters. The main cutters of diamonds are Israel and right now India. So then you're already not even close to anything that the mine has to do, right? Because they just get the rough diamonds, and
Right.
then they
I
get,
see.
and then somebody else is cutting them. Then our wholesalers, they buy those cut diamonds,
Right.
and then they sell them to us. So we're like fourth down the
Wow.
line. And we just, whatever we need. So I know my customers, and I will say, I need this many carats and this many carats. And then the wholesalers just give me the diamond. So I don't, it's like, there's many steps to it.
There's many. Wow. There's a lot of middlemen here. Interesting.
Yeah. So there's definitely different mines. There's different companies. I mean, it's a free market, but, and then, there's diamond cutters. And before the diamond cutters were very well known because, like I said, the cutting process has changed. It's evolved.
How?
Remember when I said that how people used to cut the diamonds? It didn't shine as much. So,
Right.
that took over. It takes kind of like an artist to cut a diamond because they see the diamond and they see it's just a rough diamond. It looks like a crystal, and they see what's best way to cut it. So they'll take a look. It should be round? Should it be maybe a heart, a pear shape? And then they look at the color of it. Should I make it bigger?
You don't think a machine can do better?
I think that part of machine could do better. Like AI probably will say, okay, this diamond is better as a 3 carat, but a little bit less of a quality rather than 2 carat, but better quality.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to have both options, right? Because we have customers who want, have the 3 carat and they don't mind if it has a little bit of inclusions, or we want the customer that wants a better quality and they're willing to sacrifice the size for it.
Right.
So so AI can definitely help with that, but that doesn't affect me as a retailer.
Yeah.
It actually, I think, would lower the price because then we wouldn't have to, it would be a lot faster process. Then the process of, me buying the diamond would be a little bit easier.
Is there, I'm assuming that there's a big black market in this industry, no?
Not really. Like, what do you mean?
Like you said, there's a process of, let's say, it goes through 4 or 5 hands till it gets to you.
Yeah.
So,
But everything that gets here, like I said, goes through the process of being verified. Yes. And then you want it to be, because then when the customer is asking, is this a GIA certified diamond? And they're asking me about all those questions. I want to be able to provide that it is. Even people who are not shopping at the stores, they're shopping, they're looking for a deal and they'll ask their, oh, do you know anybody who's selling a ring in Craigslist or whatever it is, Facebook Marketplace? They're still going to ask that guy, hey, do you have any paperwork for this diamond?
Mm-hmm.
Because how do they know they're buying a diamond?
Right.
So.
Right. Interesting.
It's a different industry than most other industries.
Yeah, this is what's interesting, right? It's
Yeah.
definitely an interesting industry.
Yeah.
But you're saying that it goes through a big process.
It's a lot. Like even just for us to customize a ring, it's a process, right? You're going to come and let's say you do an engagement ring and you're going to first choose the diamond that you want because that's where you're spending all of your money. Most of your money is going into the diamond.
Right.
So you're going to say, okay, I have requirements. Most people do. And they'll say either size or quality,
Right.
or they'll say size and quality, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Right.
So we find you the diamond. Then we work with them to get the idea of the ring that they want,
Mm-hmm.
because hopefully they're going to wear it for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So this is a purchase that you make for the rest of your life. Even houses, most people now are moving, every 7 to 10 years. So you spend so much money on a house and then 10 years later, you're, moving out. But diamond, an engagement ring is so sentimental that most people stay with it. There's people who upgrade it, but most people stay with it for the rest of their lives. The upgrading is also a fairly new idea. Most people had their ring and they had it all of their lives. So it's a very, very involved process.
Yeah.
And it's so you want to know, people become experts on diamonds.
Sure.
And they come into me saying, oh, I know already what I want.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you, how much do you know about the whole, specifically for men, watches are
Yeah.
like, it's nuts. $1 million
Yeah.
watches with
Yeah.
bling bling, and like this is,
Not even bling
and
bling.
they're buying it for an investment. They're not buying it as a, yeah, it's a piece, but they're like, no, this is gonna hold value like Rolex, and you know,
Over time, Rolexes have held their value.
right,
It's very similar to the diamond that we're talking about.
right.
So it becomes very sentimental because as a man, you said you're not going to wear any piece of jewelry. Would you wear a watch?
No, no, I wear.
Yeah, but I'm
I
saying
don't wear.
yes. But
I
most
don't.
men, they need some kind of symbol to show
I don't. I don't like
you
to show
don't.
any of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want people to make pre-assumed
Yeah.
assumptions.
Preconceived notions. Yeah.
I just
no
don't like
problem.
it. First,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Or you're not wearing a watch because that's what you want to give off, right? That's also a statement that you're making that you're not wearing one of those watches.
I'm a very practical guy.
Yeah.
I like things to be very efficient,
Right.
reasonable.
So have you ever worn a watch?
Yes.
And how much was that watch?
I don't know. Nothing spectacular. I think I had an Apple Watch, and I had it's all practical for
So
me.
let's say you bought $100, like even $300 watch, right? Because they're not going to
Yeah,
be less
yeah,
than
yeah,
300.
yeah.
How many of those did you buy?
I haven't had a watch in 10 years. So I
Now people don't wear watches as much. That's why I said right now the people who are wearing watches are either older people who are still used to wearing a watch,
Right.
or they're just showing, most people are now also wearing Apple Watches for the practicality of it. But a lot of people are wearing watches because that's pretty much the only thing a man used to wear. Now they're wearing bracelets and chains, and there's a lot. But as an investment,
I see. Yes, that's what I see. Most
Yeah.
the friends, some of the friends that I do have, who are into watches, like my brother, loves watches. Right, he'll spend mad money for a watch,
yeah.
and I don't have that.
I think the
loves it.
idea of mad money is kind of gone because before watches were, $10,000, $20,000. Now you can get a watch for $1 million.
That's what I mean.
So yeah, so when COVID was kind of going on, like 2020, 2022, those years,
Yeah.
Rolexes and all of that shut up. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted one. And the resale value was higher than the retail value at the Rolex store.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when all of whatever you're thinking about watches, that's when it happened just a few years ago. They dropped in prices since then. So everybody who bought it during that time overpaid. So there's a few pieces, of course, that are collectibles and everything that did not drop in value. But
Yes.
you have to really, really know your stuff. Most people are amateurs and they just look online and they want it and they fall into the hype.
Yeah.
And they bought watches and they definitely fell in value and they're more readily available now. And you can get a Rolex more now and you can get it pre-owned. And, you used to walk into the Rolex store a few years ago. There's only one Rolex available for sale.
Yes. Yes. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. But
If I had a choice for a watch, I've always liked Patek Philippe.
mhm.
I've always liked them. And if I would buy one, I'd buy that one.
Yeah, it's a nice
Just-
one.
That's all I
So
like.
there is a price that you would pay. There is something that you want.
I guess so. I'm an admirer of fine art,
Yeah.
of anything creative that's like well done, or I respect it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it for the bling bling. I buy
Right.
it for the quality and the craftsmanship
Yeah.
that I like. Same thing.
There's a lot of watches that you can get the craftsmanship that are not Patek.
Which companies? Would you
I
say?
I mean, there's just smaller companies out there also that are producing beautiful watches. But yeah,
Really?
but they're not going to be an investment piece, and you're not going to spend pennies on it either. This is what I say about jewelry also. For example, people come in and they go to Nordstrom's or they'll go to anywhere and they spend $300, $400, $500 right now because everything has gone up on costume jewelry. They bring it to us. I can't even fix it sometimes
Oh,
because it's costume jewelry. Or sometimes it's not worth it to fix it because sometimes it costs more to fix it than it would to. It doesn't cost $300 to fix it, but to spend
Yes.
$60 on a costume piece of jewelry, you don't want to.
Right.
So then they're going to go and they're going to buy another piece of costume jewelry for another $300. But that's not everlasting.
Right.
You buy those watches that you're talking about. You buy the jewelry for it to be everlasting. You can fix it as many times. The ring that I'm wearing now, if my daughter ever chooses to wear it, we can size it to her finger, no problem. And I didn't spend $500 every year on, something that I'm just going to throw away. It can last forever.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the same thing with those watches. Those watches can be fixed. Now, those watches are expensive to fix. You're undertaking like,
So do you see a lot more men buying today? Like 15, you've been in business for 15 years.
Yeah.
So do you see a lot more men buying or not really still?
Yes. I even see men now buying jewelry for themselves a lot more. They buy the bracelets, they buy the chains, and it's good. I think the gold chains, always a good idea.
It's a good idea.
I mean, it depends how much you pay for it. But what I'm saying is that 30 years, gold will probably be higher. You'll never be able to get it for the price that, we got it today. So, yes, you're still paying retail. You're still paying a fortune. But you're probably going to pay less today than you will, 20 years down the line. You can pass it down to your kids. You can melt it down.
Yeah, so you're talking about melt value. You're talking about not really, it's craftsmanship or whatever.
But there's two different values, yes. But also, like, let's say your son loves the chain that you got and he can't get it now.
Oh, absolutely. You're banking on a sentimental value for sure.
But also, let's say he doesn't like the chain. He can melt it down and make something else out of it. Physically, that same gold will be made into something else. And he can say that, yes, it's sentimental value, but it's also, he didn't have to put any money out of his pocket. I see that all the time, that people come in and they're like, I already have an heirloom diamond and now I don't need to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars on an engagement ring. I can just get, the setting for it.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming that
part of the generational wealth.
Yes. I'm assuming the jewelry in general has been traditionally worn on certain places of the body, right? It's the earrings, it's the
bracelets,
it's the rings, right? The necklaces, and that's it, right? Or is there like, what else do people actually?
Well, if you think about ancient Egypt, right?
Yeah.
So they used to wear it kind of on their necks.
Right.
And then, but like those different kinds.
Yes.
The nose.
Yeah, the nose, right.
And then we have belly button rings. We have anklets. Then like those, sometimes people get like the chains all over their belly. But yeah, crowns. Crowns were used to be made of gold.
But nobody does that. Nobody makes hats out of gold.
Because gold is too expensive now.
Yeah, it is.
And because gold crowns used to be only worn by royalty.
Right.
I'm sure that whoever,
Right.
They can still get the crowns made, but not, they make the diamond necklace or the whatever else they choose to.
Sure. I mean, you have the buttons, right? You can do buttons and all kinds of.
The cufflinks used to be gold for men. The cufflinks.
Is that still popular, cufflinks?
No.
No, eh?
No, because people don't dress up as much either.
No.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It's too bad. Yeah. That's so the men used to get, the gold cufflinks, the nice watch.
Yeah.
And they used to dress up.
Yeah,
and now I feel like the generation now is buying a lot more jewelry, but just a little bit before they weren't buying as much gold. They were buying more silver and the costume jewelry. But now I think people are educated enough to say, okay, I'm not going to waste my time and, money on something that I can't hold on to.
Got it. Thank you. Informative.
Yeah, so you should buy more jewelry. Your biggest outtake from all of this, right?
Yeah. That's it. It's one of those things that, like you said, throughout history and different cultures, people have always had it, passed down. I know that personally. I mean, for sure.
Isn't that how royalties built their wealth? Was part of it was through the gold and it's always been gold and the gemstones?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's how countries have been built.
What are the top gemstones?
What do you mean top? Like, so we talked about the precious and the semi-precious. So those are, so sapphire, emerald, rubies are the ones that you're going to see as going to be the most expensive. Alexandrite also, but it's very, very rare now. So alexandrite is something that came from Russia, a stone. But
What does it look like?
it is, it changes colors.
Oh.
So it's one color during the day and another color at night. It's blue and red, but
No
they're
kidding.
very, very rare. Right now, they're almost non-existent. Much more expensive than a diamond. Of
Really?
the same size, yes. Yeah. So
That's cool.
you shine a light to it, and it changes colors. Depending on how well it changes color and how deep those colors are, that's what gives it more value. So yeah, colored stones have been, a hit. Jade isn't, people believe a lot of jade in Asian countries.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they love jade, and they believe in it. It's mystical
Yeah.
powers. And um I mean,
What is your to-go stone outside of diamonds? What do you like?
what do I like? I personally, I like sapphires and blue topaz, just because I like blue. There's nothing really scientific about it. I just
Right.
like blue. But what I do like is to mix the colors together. And right now that's super popular. Like, so to have a sapphire ring and an emerald ring together.
That's cool.
Yeah. So right now that's what's popular. And I think Kate Middleton, she has a sapphire ring. That was Princess Diana's ring. Also passed down as an heirloom piece.
Right.
So, and then when they talked about, I think, Prince Harry, given something, they always say, like, oh, it was Princess Diana's.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you're royalty, if you're just, ordinary like me or anybody. Jewelry always has value, sentimental value to it.
Yeah, I guess that's his strength for sure. Thanks.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.